Jeep, there's only one.
And welcome back to the NFL Today. And now Amazon takes you out to the sights and sounds of the game between the Falcons and the Saints. So let's get you out to New Orleans with our announcers, Andrew Catalan, Tiki Barber, Matt Ryan, and A.J. Ross.
JB, between the stakes and the rivalry, the Big Easy is buzzing as we close in on kickoff between the Falcons and Saints. Both teams still alive for the playoffs on the final day of the regular season. If Tampa Bay beats Carolina, the Bucs are division champs. If they lose, the winner of our game will take the NFC South. The Saints can also get in as a wild card with a win and losses by both the Seahawks and the Packers. And hi, everyone. Alongside Matt Ryan and Tiki Barber, I'm Andrew Catalan. We'll hear from A.J. Ross coming up. There's a lot of juice in this building right now, and not just because of the playoff implications. These two teams do not like each other. Matt, you played in the rivalry 27 times. Yeah, wow. How would you describe it?
Man, it's amazing you said 7 times, 14 years of doing it. And frankly, it was one I didn't know anything about before getting drafted to Atlanta in 2008. But I learned quickly this one is different. And both cities, man, the fan bases get fired up for this. It's unique to be a part of it, especially with all that's on the line today. This building is already buzzing. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal today. To me, it's hard to come in here on the offensive side of the ball and be able to execute it. But it's going to be with Desmond Ridder today, which is a surprise. Taylor Heineke out, Desmond Ridder going to be in. He's been inconsistent throughout the year. He needs to play his best football today. In addition to that, Ryan Newsel is starting at center for the injured Drew Dahlman. Quarterback-center exchange, the most important part of football, difficult to do here. Even when you've been working with somebody all year, it's going to be increasingly difficult today, but they got to run the football, Tiki. This is what they do on offense. They have to establish the run, and it's something that they've done really well against the Saints.
They really have. 200-plus yards in the last 3 meetings, 228 in the last one, and a victory for the Atlanta Falcons. And for this New Orleans Saints, they're going to have to play a different style of defense. They're going to have to be more gap-conscious. Atlanta does a lot at the snap. Motion, pre-snap, all those things that confuse you. So the linebacking core, DeMario Davis and Zach Bond and Pete Werner, they're going to have to be aggressive, because if they don't, they might get run out of their own building.
Saints have won 3 of their last 4, and this is the best we've seen Derek Carr play so far this season. What's been clicking for Carr?
Well, first of all, I think he's healthy. I think he was beat up earlier on in the season, but also he started to be really consistent and not turn the football over. 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions over the month of December, 73% completion percentage. He's got the right weapons out there. Chris Olave on the outside. So they have to convert on 3rd down. They have to figure out a way to continue to be offensively productive. But they're going to have to do it without Alvin Kamara. Jamal Williams, who had a fantastic year in Detroit last year, didn't get a lot of burn this year. He's a volume carrier. They're going to need him to step up today.
And Atlanta's defense, honestly, is the reason they have a chance to win the division today. And it really comes down to this guy, Jesse Bates. He's been the X factor. He leads the team in basically every statistical category. He was a great pickup for them in the offseason. He's the leader. He needs to turn it over today to give them a chance to win.
Well, it's already loud in here. AJ, how are the Falcons going to handle this noise?
Andrew, you can not only hear, you can feel the noise pulsating here inside the Superdome before these 70,000-plus fans. Like Matt mentioned, it's difficult for any team, let alone the Falcons, who have struggled on the road at 2-6 this year, and they're 0-2 inside domes. Arthur Smith told us they piped music inside their team meetings and their practices this week, trying to get guys to focus and have their communication on point. But there is no replicating a sound and an energy like this.
Thank you, AJ. We're getting set for another chapter in this rivalry, and this one could end with one of these teams going to the playoffs. Kickoff is coming up on CBS.
Support of the NFL. The National Gay Flag Football League provides inclusive play for over 4,000 LGBTQ.
Pro Bowler Rashid Shaheed, elected to the Pro Bowl earlier this week, is back deep. He'll let it go. It's a touchback. So out comes Derek Carr, who over the last 4 games is completing 73% of his passes. That's #1 in the NFL.
Yeah, he's certainly gotten more comfortable as the New Orleans Saints quarterback, and he's playing his best football here in December and January, and that's what you want, right? You want a guy who's peaking at the right time. He's going to need to deliver a veteran experienced performance today to win this football game.
That's Taysom Hill going in motion. Carr in the shotgun, throws it to Hill. Blockers in front, and Taysom Hill across the 30, and that extra effort may have given him enough for a first down.
Yeah, Taysom Hill's out on the field. Alvin Kamara is also not in this game, so Jamal Williams, who technically didn't start the game, now comes out and will be the tailback. When we talked earlier to Coach Allen, he said he's a volume runner. We know this because we saw him last year in Detroit, had 17 touchdowns a year ago. They're going to have to depend on him today.
Yeah, you mentioned the volume too. I think the way that he runs with the physicality he wears on defenses, he certainly did that during his time in Detroit.
Taysom Hill got 11. It's first down and 10. Carr back to the air, locates Williams out of the backfield. And Jamal Williams is tackled at the 41 by A.J. Terrell. For this Atlanta defense that's led by a familiar face, that's Ryan Nielsen. His first year as the Falcons defensive coordinator, but he spent the last 6 seasons with the Saints.
I think it's going to be interesting, Tiki, to see his plan today, right? They used a lot of man-to-man coverage in that first matchup
76%.
in week 12. And, you know, it's one of those things, when you play man, you live and die by it.
On second down, it's Williams, and he is thrown back by the former Saint, David Onyemata. Spent his first 7 years in New Orleans.
Onyemata does a good job of splitting this trap block up front. Just splits it, gets penetration. We always talk about this. Penetration and run game, it's always going to be get blown up. It forces the running back to make a move before the play develops.
Carr on third down, pressure's coming, it's deflected and incomplete. Incomplete pass on third down, and the Saints will send out the punt team. Bud Dupree applying the pressure.
Well, yeah. I'm not sure if this counts as a deflection. He's only had 5 of them all season, right? But this is good pressure. Yeah, I called it a fumble here, but good recovery by the offensive line. But this is early pressure from Ryan Nielsen, and it was one of the things that showed up in that first matchup was a tendency to pressure in that 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 area. They get home with the early one. But that's what you want if you're the visiting team coming in, right? Getting off the field, getting that 3 and out to start, getting the ball back in your offense's hands. As you see, a little unique formation in the special teams here.
Lou Headley punting. D. Alford is the deep man. He'll let it bounce, and it goes out of bounds. You're seeing the score of the Panthers-Buccaneers game in the top left of your screen. We're going to keep it there all day on the final day of the regular season.
Come back the other way, but you got to get the backside shut off. If you don't, the tackle's got to come down and shut off that backside. Otherwise, it's dead on admission.
Yeah, it's a play based on deception.
Yeah.
When you don't deceive DeMario, that ball's getting tackled for a loss.
Second down and 11. Play action. Ritter with the check down to Robinson. And Robinson slips a tackle and gets out of bounds to make it 3rd and manageable. A 5-yard pickup for Bijan Robinson, who enters the day needing 52 yards rushing to get to 1,000 on the year.
I think that's a good sign for Desmond Ritter. Frankly, he's struggled this year at different times. He's turned the football over, but one of the things he can do is check the football down to Bijan Robinson. When you have a back like this and you're going to use some of that play action, if it's not there immediately, get the ball to Bijan, give him a chance to make plays in space.
Third and 5. Ritter throwing right. Wide open man. It's Miller down the sideline. Scotty Miller is caught from behind by Jordan Howden. Scotty Scotty Miller was wide open, and he goes for 56 yards.
Well, you mentioned it in the open, Tiki. One of the things the Falcons like to use is a lot of motion, right? And a lot of things to try and deceive the defense right here. Scotty Miller goes in motion, and it creates a bunch set. Bunch sets are the hardest thing for groupings of defensive players to pass off in man-to-man coverage. Obviously, a bust right there by the New Orleans defense. Really good design right there from the Falcons staff, and a good start for this Atlanta Falcons offense.
A career-long reception for Miller, and now the Falcons in the red zone, first down and 10. Play action again. Ritter on the move, throws, and he's got Drake London, who shoved out of bounds. Jonathan Abram on the coverage. NFL Today update. It's JB and Nate Burleson.
AFC South title is theirs with a win.
That's right, Jags on the board first. Brandon McManus, 44-yard field goal attempt. It's up and it's good. Jags lead 3-0.
Back to Andrew Catalan.
All right, guys, thank you. Drake London went for 9 yards, so second down and 1. Arthur Smith and the Falcons have it inside the 10-yard line. Robinson picks up the first down and still going inside the 5 and down to the 3. First and goal for Atlanta after a 7-yard run.
Well, this is exactly what we thought Atlanta would do. Bijan Robinson is very patient as a runner. For a young runner to be able to get himself into the correct hole on that backside slant there.
Late flag has come in. Yeah. Referee today is John Hussey.
Might get a holding here.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 85 of the offense. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced.